On the front line, where Ukraine's future is being decided every single day, a quiet but brutally intense fight continues in the shadows. The drone war. Ukrainian operators have become a serious threat to the occupiers, spotting, hunting, and destroying vehicles and fortified positions in places where traditional artillery can't deliver results anymore. In this compilation, you'll see some of the clearest, most telling footage of drone crews working along the line, from precise strikes on tanks and other armored vehicles, to the complete destruction of dugouts and assault fortifications. Watch this episode to understand one simple truth. Today, the sky belongs to whoever controls the drones better. The first episode in our compilation shows a tank tucked right up against the edge of a tree line, as if it could simply disappear from view. A drone dives in fast and slams straight into the vehicle's most vulnerable spot. Shrapnel rips through the external fuel tanks, and the ignited fuel instantly spreads across the hull. The fire grows at a terrifying speed, disabling the machine within moments. Flames start creeping deeper inside, pushing toward the ammunition compartment. Then, just seconds later, it cooks off. One violent detonation tears the tank apart from within, throwing thick smoke and debris into the air. What's left is only a burning shell, clear proof of the clean, precise work of Ukraine's drone operators. In this episode, the targets are Russian loiter-and-wait drones, devices Ukrainian bomber teams tracked down and wiped out with a sudden strike. These drones are especially dangerous because they can sit motionless in cover for hours, almost impossible to spot. Then, they wake up at the worst possible moment and deliver a precise hit on anything moving in. That's why finding and neutralizing them in time is critical. Every waiter drone taken out is an attack prevented, equipment saved, and lives spared. This kind of methodical drone work often decides the outcome before an open clash even begins. Under the cover of night, UAV operators spotted an enemy tank concealed in thick bushes, trying to stay unnoticed. The target's coordinates were confirmed within seconds, and the drone began a pinpoint attack. Several dropped grenades hit the armored vehicle dead on, sparking a fire and causing serious damage. Flames spread rapidly across the hull, leaving the machine with no chance of recovery. Before long, the tank was reduced to a charred shell, completely knocked out. Even if the exterior looks intact, the internal systems are burned beyond repair, making any restoration pointless. This sharp, clean operation is another example of how drone speed and stealth are reshaping modern warfare. Footage from the Shadow unit at work. 2 artillery pieces gave away their position as soon as they opened fire on Ukrainian lines. The muzzle flashes and the distinct smoke instantly revealed their coordinates. The response was immediate. Kamikaze drones raced toward the exposed targets. Precise hits stripped the guns of any ability to keep firing and turned them into lifeless wreckage. One counterstrike ended their work for good, no second chances, no reuse. Yes, artillery is still called the god of war, but today UAV forces can challenge it head-on and inflict serious damage on the enemy. These shots show Russian logistics vehicles, vans, and trucks that never made it to the end of their routes. Every destroyed vehicle means shipments disrupted, resources lost, and new problems for units waiting on supplies. Drone operators work methodically and cold-bloodedly, moving step by step from detection to impact. First, they identify and track the target, then they deliver a calculated strike that leaves no chance to save the cargo or the vehicle. Actions like this deny the enemy fuel, ammunition, and equipment. Slowly, strike by strike, a key pillar of the occupier's army collapses. It's logistics. In the forest, 2 Russian Grad multiple rocket launchers were spotted and taken out while they were setting up positions and preparing to strike Ukrainian units. Their plans were ruined before they could even open fire. A precise, timely hit stripped them of any chance to complete their mission. The launchers were left as useless wreckage without causing any damage. An artillery gun the occupiers believed was safely hidden under camouflage netting. But no camouflage holds up against the sharp eye of a Ukrainian UAV operator. One accurate strike, and that's another combat unit erased from the battlefield. The destruction of enemy vehicles continues. This time, the targets are damaged, but still mobile vans, civilian cars, and other transport used to run supplies to the front. At the end, we get a close-up of one vehicle burned down completely. After a hit like that, repairs aren't just difficult, they're unrealistic. While on patrol, an aerial reconnaissance unit spotted an extremely rare target, a Buk surface-to-air missile system, only used occasionally by Russian forces. A system like this is valued at over $10 million, making it a high-priority catch. Realizing their position was compromised, the crew tried to hide the launcher under the cover of the forest, but it didn't work. A Ukrainian kamikaze drone caught up too. The system and delivered a precise, crushing hit. The ammunition detonated, finishing the job and knocking the Buk out completely. Losing equipment like this isn't just a financial blow, it's a serious hit to enemy air defense on this sector of the front. Drone operators on the Lyman axis work under total stealth. During reconnaissance, they discovered an enemy self-propelled artillery system carefully concealed and camouflaged at a firing position. The first strike tore up the camouflage, exposing the turret and making it clearly visible. The second drone inflicted additional damage, preventing the vehicle from relocating. The third hit was decisive, finishing the SPG for good. Coordinated, precise work like this left the enemy with zero chance to save the equipment. A brilliant operation by the 1st Battalion of Unmanned Systems, Predators of the Heights. A tank was hiding inside an almost completely destroyed building with extra camouflage, covered in boards and rubble. From above, it blended into the ruins, designed to make detection nearly impossible, but the drone crews still found it. They hit first with a double FPV strike, damaging critical components. Then bomber drone operators joined in, dropping explosive charges directly onto the target. A series of precise impacts finished the job. The armored vehicle was knocked out for good, the shelter became its grave, and the tank itself turned into a useless pile of scrap metal. In this episode, operators from the Orion Battalion used a reconnaissance drone to locate an enemy multiple rocket launcher actively shelling Ukrainian positions. The coordinates were relayed instantly, and strike drones moved in without delay. What followed was an aerial chase. An operator kept the target locked in view, denying it any chance to disappear. Minutes later, a precise hit reached the launcher. The result was decisive. The system was disabled and no longer a threat, confirmed by the reconnaissance drone's footage. A productive morning for one of the units. 5 communications repeaters were taken out, along with a UAZ Bukanka van used to deliver supplies. Losses like these immediately disrupt command and control, break real-time coordination between units, and cripple logistics, cutting off critical deliveries and stripping the enemy of the ability to launch organized assaults. As a result, the pressure on Ukrainian defensive positions drops noticeably. Destroying the enemy's logistics remains one of the key tasks for building a lasting operational advantage. Ukrainian drone systems maintain constant surveillance over paved roads, dirt routes, and field tracks. Any vehicle that enters their line of sight is instantly turned into a target. Every truck or minibus burned out on the route means a rotation disrupted, a delivery of ammunition, fuel, and food that never arrives, and another failed attempt to reinforce or hold positions. This steady, methodical pressure from the air gradually reduces the enemy's mobility, strips away operational tempo, and limits their ability to react quickly as the situation changes. Today, one of the highest priority targets for UAV strikes is enemy communications infrastructure, antennas, and signal repeaters. They provide reliable links between frontline units and also enable real-time control of strike and reconnaissance drones. After Russian forces lost access to the Starlink system in early 2026, they were forced to rely far more heavily on their own solutions: fixed and mobile antennas, field repeaters, and radio relay systems. These assets became critical nodes for command, coordination, and control, which is exactly why they sit high on the target list for Ukrainian FPV crews and other strike drone teams. The destruction of enemy fixed-wing drones in Ukrainian skies. These clips hit especially hard when you remember what those drones are built for: bringing death and destruction, with one main purpose: terrorizing and bombing civilians in Ukrainian cities. Every successful interception and takedown is real lives saved. Ukrainian civilians who refuse to submit or live under Russian occupation. To shoot one down is to protect. In this episode, an FPV operator had a precision job: fly the drone through a narrow gap and hit pre-placed mines exactly. The first attempt looks perfect. The drone slips through the tight space and reaches the target. But in the reconnaissance footage, there's no explosion. That means the first drone's warhead didn't detonate for some reason, so they try again. A second drone heads into the same gap. You can even see the first failed drone lying near the mines, but it doesn't matter anymore. The second FPV completes the maneuver, lands the hit, and a massive blast erupts, completely destroying the mined object. A temporary shelter used by Russian occupiers. The first FPV breaks into the structure and detonates. The blast is strong, but the building is still standing, walls up, no full collapse. Then the second strike finishes it. A direct hit, another explosion, and within seconds all four walls fold inward like a house of cards. Everything inside, ammo, gear, enemy personnel, is instantly buried under the rubble. The shelter stops existing. Ukrainian kamikaze drones slam into a dugout one after another, where a group of Russian assault troops has taken cover. The strikes come in sequence with no pause. Each new hit compounds the destruction, punching deeper into the position. At this moment, there's no confirmed data on whether anyone inside survived. But given the impact points, the charge power, and the nature of the target, the chances of survival are extremely low, if not zero. The dugout turned into a mass grave for those hiding inside. A masterful takedown of another Russian tank. The operator spots a mine-clearing trawl lying on the ground near the target. Most likely, the tank hit Ukrainian mines, took serious blast damage, and the trawl tore off and ended up nearby. The tank itself, damaged, but still capable of pulling back. But it doesn't get that chance. One more precise grenade drop, and the tank is finished, reduced to scrap metal. Nearby, there's a second target. Another enemy tank, already fitted with a grill cage. Here, the mesh does its job. The drone can't get the charge into a hatch or a truly vulnerable spot. But even with a cage, a tank is still vulnerable when the operator works smart and keeps the pressure on. Ukrainian UAV operators detected the deployment of a Russian Uragan multiple rocket launcher. The enemy was preparing it for another act of terror, a rocket strike on the city of Zaporizhzhia. Thanks to accurate aerial reconnaissance and strike drones, the launcher was found and destroyed quickly. As a result, the planned bombardment of the regional center was stopped. The city and its residents were spared a mass strike. The engagement took place north of the village of Volodymyrivka in the Zaporizhzhia region. On the Pokrovsk axis, Ukrainian FPV crews eliminated a rare and valuable piece of enemy hardware, a Nona S self-propelled artillery system. The enemy had cleverly hidden it inside a building, using the structure as cover to fire from. A classic tactic for mobile systems trying to avoid being spotted from the air. Recon drones quickly identified the target. Then an FPV operator executed a surgical hit. The drone entered the building and scored a direct impact. The SPG was destroyed completely. No more shelling Ukrainian positions or civilian areas. Losses like this are especially painful for the enemy. The Nona S is a versatile combat system, rarely seen in today's fighting, and taking it out significantly reduces the occupier's firepower on this sector. The Black Swan unit in action. Russian assault troops in armored vehicles tried to use dense fog as cover for a sudden breakthrough toward Ukrainian positions. But Ukraine's aerial reconnaissance worked flawlessly. The column's movement was detected instantly, despite near-zero visibility. FPV drones went up at once, and a focused hunt began. Black Swan operators worked the targets methodically. One enemy armored vehicle after another took direct hits. Explosions tore through the fog, disabling equipment and wiping out personnel. Most likely, this episode was filmed near the village of Varvarivka in the Zaporizhzhia region, where similar assault attempts have been recorded repeatedly. The fog didn't save them. It only delayed the inevitable. The drones found and destroyed everything that moved. Another attack stopped, positions held, and the enemy paid the price. Every explosion, every drone brought down, every tank taken out isn't just footage. It's a clear reminder of how modern warfare is changing and how decisive unmanned systems have become. As long as drone crews keep working, the enemy keeps losing equipment and the ability to push forward. If you found this episode interesting, support it with a like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next compilations.